All right, let's talk about Malachi Corley of the New York Jets. They, wanted to definitely improve the wide receiver position after last year. He is someone they drafted, hopefully, to help with that. Of course, the addition of Mike Williams as well is a big part of it. But, he was a third round pick, Corley was, but a high third round pick 65. So they definitely have some hope that he can come in and at least be a solid contributor right out of the gate. So let's talk about what he did in the preseason. Real quick before I do, though, just want to mention I do have a movie channel. If you like movies, just search Jackson Kruger Movies, or the link is in the description below if that seems like something you're interested in, movie reviews, stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about Malachi Corley. First, something like this, it's a wide receiver screen on a 3rd and 14. Okay, nothing too fancy here, right? But alright, let's see what happens. Right off the bat, you're going to see Corley gets the ball, and I gotta be honest, he's going to make an odd choice here. Now, typically, a lot of times you like to go in front of the tackle, or I guess behind the tackle, I should say. But just looking at it from right here, that's just not really a thing he can do in this spot. I can get why he wants to juke out that defensive lineman in front of him, but the reality is he doesn't have to. He can just run more towards the bottom of the screen, and he has plenty of room to run. And also watch him, instead he just goes completely the wrong direction, essentially, and loses yards on the play. That's not ideal. And that's certainly something that I'm sure the Jets coaching staff was saying, hey, when they're watching film, this was not a smart decision. It's one of those things that you do see guys do, young players do, is at the college level, you can kind of do these crazy things because you can usually juke out most of the players that you're playing against. At the NFL level, guys are just too good. You have to run to where they aren't, and Corley didn't do a great job of doing it on that one. Although heading over to this play, it does seem to be that he kind of learned his lesson. I would say this was the next week. They're doing the same thing, a little wide receiver screen pass to him. When this play begins, there isn't a clear thing that's about to get open like there was last time, but he's going to look forward. He sees there is a area he should run. And that's what he does. He just runs forward, picks up a few yards, nothing special, but he didn't make the same mistake again, right? He realized this time, okay, let me just go, follow the blockers, go more towards the outside. That's good stuff there by Corley. So, again, the preseason isn't about not making mistakes. It's often about making mistakes and then learning from them, and you see him doing it on that play. So I would say you could honestly argue this as a whole is a good thing to see from Corley. Although heading over to something like this, I gotta be honest, I didn't love his game. I didn't love his tape. There was some good stuff, I thought, on his tape, but there was also some underwhelming stuff. I thought it was a mixed bag, I guess is what I would say. A play like this, for example, it's a 3rd down and 9. You see the one-on-one matchup on the screen, so, okay, let's see what happens. Well, when Curley tries to run this route, to be honest, you look at him, he's not open at all. There is no separation whatsoever. Again, you're not going to get separation every time, but this is something that I kind of noticed, I think. Also, as the play breaks down, Claire doesn't really get open there either until kind of later on, but also does do a nice job, I would say, of at the very least stepping out of the way, giving his quarterback room to run for the first down, which is important, right? If he were to just stay by the sideline, the Panthers player covering him might have been able to make a tackle. Getting out of the way was still good, so there's still some good stuff in here. And I think there's a lot of plays where it's kind of like that. There's something good and something not so good. For example, this one, where what's going to happen is it's a one-on-one matchup on a 3rd down and 10. And again, if you're going to be a number 1 wide receiver, which might be a bit optimistic for someone picked 65th overall, but not crazy optimistic for someone picked with that pick. At the very least, you want someone who can occasionally win in these types of situations. A 3rd down and 10, this over-the-middle type route, good route against this type of coverage. And I would say when this play begins, Corley is winning. There is a window. It's not a huge window. It certainly isn't a massive win, but I think he's pretty open here. Unfortunately, this throw is a bit low. He's not quite able to hang on. I'll show the other angles that gives a better, clear example. This was ruled a catch on the field, ultimately overturned. You can see how he wasn't quite able to make the play. You can also see how that Giants player was kind of all over him. Don't know how he could have made the play. So I don't know. This is one of those where, okay, the overall numbers might not have been super impressive, but you look at something like this and say, well, this is him winning in a situation where if Aaron Rodgers makes a better throw, as in if Aaron Rodgers is in the game, you assume he'd make a better throw, and you would have gotten the completion there. So I actually think there's some positives for something like this. And to be clear, I've talked a lot of kind of negatives or neutrals. There were some positive plays. For example, this one, it is a 4th down and 1 situation, and you're going to see Corley on this one. It's a one-on-one matchup, just a quick slant route, good route against this type of coverage, but still, you got to find a way to win. And what I like about Corley is I feel like he uses contact very well. You see how when this play begins, he's going to use that initial contact at the line. This is something I've seen him do on several plays that I thought was really good and worked in the preseason. He's open right now. This was a good job by Corley. He's given his team a chance to convert on the 4th down, and quarterback's going to throw it in this direction. And not just that, but they connect. They get the 1st down. Big play there by Corley. And these are important plays for just someone to make. So being able to do something like this is very good. Also, this was fun where you see that number 81 for the Jets kind of had it and lost it, and Corley managed to catch it before it hit the ground. Just showing that because I think it's fun more than anything. But that's, good play there by Corley for sure. So I think it's fair to say I would probably preferred a little bit more consistency from him. I still think there was a lot of good stuff, I thought, on tape. And, it was definitely a mixed bag. But plays like this are fun, but they're also kind of show that he does have good concentration. He is able to, good field vision, all of that good stuff, which we saw on a play earlier, him having good awareness of what's going on. So, yeah, as a whole, my overall feelings is I don't know. I don't want to say negative, but just not overly positive, I guess. I think there was maybe some hope. Again, pick 65 is a pretty high up pick. It's barely a 3rd round selection. It's the first pick in the 3rd round. So you're maybe hoping for a little bit more than I think what I saw so far. At the same time, I don't think that he was a mess out there. To me, I think right off the bat, it looks like there are things that he should be able to do pretty well. He should be able to get off the line pretty well, which can certainly help out on specific plays, especially if you want to run some rub routes and things of that nature through him. And definitely he's, while he made the mistake on the one screen pass, he made up for it on the other one. And I think that, it's always difficult to exactly figure out how much we should even read into some of this stuff, because it is the preseason. This is a small sample size. That, of course, goes without saying, but I'll say it here anyway. But, there were some nice plays, there were some nice things to take away from it. I just wanted a little bit more consistency. And that's something that's always hard to show in a film study, but I feel like the consistency wasn't quite there. While there were some positive plays, a lot of times he just wasn't getting open, which, could mean a lot of things. Definitely no reason to panic. It is just the preseason, but I would like to see him get open more. That being said, he did get open some and did make some nice plays with it. So, yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Corley and how he played in the preseason for the Jets. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.